Hello and welcome to the most pointless show on the internet television community. Yes, this is United Kingdom Talk. My name's Chris Reardon, our 3 times a week talk show. And what was I going to start with today? Oh, thank you very, very much to Joe Morris, who hosts his very own podcast, AmericanTalkUSA.com, who sends just 2 little lines after my short holiday at my sister's. We missed you last week. Nice to have you back. Thank you, Joe. Do you know, I missed me as well. If I could sit here and listen to all of my shows, I'd be happy, but I haven't got the time to do it. Sometimes, if I don't listen to my own shows, I actually miss myself. I really do. And here's a little tip for you. There's nothing better than sitting in your car, in traffic, with your latest edition of United Kingdom Talk, windows wound down. Don't worry about the weather. I mean, what's a little bit of water from the rain between friends? There's nothing better than opening that window and letting my voice boom out among the traffic. Can you imagine what a talking point that would be? People in cars all around you, listening. Who is that voice? Who is that voice? And they could probably make conversations with you. If you're a single person, perhaps. Okay? And you hear United Kingdom Talk, you've got it on in the car. Oh, hang on a minute. I haven't started something, have I? Just a minute. I've forgotten something. Oh, we are. I've just realised those of you that watch the show will notice I now have a background film going on behind me, and I haven't started it off, have I? I've forgotten. Just a minute now. Oh, that's taken a long time to start. Oh, I should. Sorry, there we are. That's better. There we are. I should have done this before we started. There we are. How unprofessional. How unprofessional am I? Anyway, so you're there sitting in your car, and you got your windows open, my voice booming out there. Can you just imagine what lovely people would be shouting back at you as you're disturbing their peace while sitting in the traffic on the M25 or the I-4 in Florida or somewhere like that? Oh, I know all the roads, dear. I know all the roads. Yeah, so thank you very much for that, Joe. Just a suggestion for you. There's nothing better than sitting there in the car listening to me talk to you on your journey to wherever you're going. Maybe just to the supermarket, or dropping those lovely little children off to school who are too damn lazy to walk anymore. What's all that about, eh? I often wonder here in the UK how on earth we got to the point of now ferrying all our children around to school all the time in cars. What's all that about? I mean, I used to walk to school all the time. It was about a 15-minute walk when we went to the Sacred Heart School in primary school in Roehampton. We walked every morning. Now, people are like driving their children to school and they only go around the corner. I don't know how that ever happened. Anyway, other news, and I can't remember if I told you on the last show, but Millie from Minnesota, I have now met. Millie from Minnesota, who came to Belushi's karaoke on Monday night. Now, I host 2 karaoke nights. One is at Belushi's in Hammersmith every Monday night from 9 o'clock or straight after the football. Free entry there. And also I host karaoke in Birmingham at Route 2 in Hurst Street on Fridays. And we all have a little bit of a sing-song. Anyway, Millie, all the way from Minnesota, came and sang at my karaoke on Monday. And I think she had a nice time. And I'm going to meet her again next week, hopefully, and we're gonna have a pizza, possibly in a hotel room, and we'll take the video camera and the sound equipment there, and we're going to record a show there. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm a little bit nervous, though, I have to say. There's actually a picture of Millie and myself on the screen. Oh, it's gone now, on the screen behind me. I'm a little bit concerned that Millie might try and get her wicked way with me while I'm in that hotel room. So I think what I'm going to have to do is start off all the recording equipment before I get in there. And there I will have evidence. Evidence if anything towards happens. And don't worry, you will, I've decided, you will be able to hear and see everything that's going on in that room. You really will. So very much looking forward to that. What did Millie sing? She sang a Celine Dion song, but she wasn't too happy with that one, so I didn't record that one. And I'm just trying to think of the song she sang right at the beginning. Can't remember. Can't remember what the song was she sang at the beginning. But nevertheless, as a special treat, now this will only be on the video part of the show. At the end of the show, you will be able to see Millie performing in all her glory at Belushi's in Hammersmith. So those of you that watch the show, okay, when I finish chatting away, tagged on to the end of this programme will be a little video of Millie singing for you at Belushi's in Hammersmith. I'm sorry, we can't just do the... it won't work if I do just the audio thing. You need the visual with that one, okay? And I didn't think it would work just on the audio. All right, so once again, those of you watching the show, when we get to the end of the programme, when I finish chatting away, you'll see Millie performing her song. Now, if you're listening to the show on an MP3 player or an internet radio station, do not worry. You will be able to go and find this particular show. Just go to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk on the web, okay, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and you want the show dated Saturday the... Oh, hang on, sorry. Oh, do you know what? I've forgotten what one it is now. Hang on a minute, let me go and have a quick look. Let me go and have a little look on my internet, on my computer next door. How stupid am I? I don't even know what I'm talking about today. Just a minute, because I want to get the date right in case you want to watch it. Let me try again. See, the day that you're watching the show might not be necessarily the actual date, the date of the show, if you see what I'm saying. So let me just double check that, which one it is. Double click on there. 22. Oh, is it down here? Yes, that's it. Saturday the 26th of September 2009. Some people often wonder why I tell people the dates, or at least the the year. Why is he saying the year? Well, because the show's 3 years old. And the thing is with the internet, things seem to hang around on there forever and a day, don't they? I mean, I've got shows on there now going right the way back to October 2005, and they're still there. I haven't deleted them. I mean, I haven't deleted them, but I just... oh, dear, what's going on there? Just a minute now. Just a minute. There we are. I haven't actually deleted them. Okay, I didn't delete them, but I thought things would be just deleted after a certain period of time. But on the internet, stuff does hang around forever and ever, doesn't it? Once again, the show you want is Saturday the... Oh, I can't remember what I said now. I'm not going back in there. You heard what I said, didn't you? Yeah, and I wondered, how long can that go on for? Surely we can't just keep storing and storing and storing stuff forever and a day, can we? We'd run out of space, wouldn't we? Or not? I don't know. But there you are, my shows go all the way back to October 2005, okay? Main website for the show, once again, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right then, now, what else have we got today? I'm a bit all over the place today, I'm afraid, my darlings. Well, let's give you the email address. If you want to join in at any point, there's three ways to do this. The main way being the email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. There is also a text number. If you're driving along somewhere and you think, oh, I'd like to make a quick comment, and usually, you know, you've forgotten by the time you want to get home, well, you can do that mobile phone now as well. I'll give you the text number in a little bit, and there's also a postal address as well. Okay? Now, how about this? Things that mum and dad told you when you were younger that were not true. And I've come up with this idea because the other day, while I was doing the karaoke in Birmingham, at Route 2. I was talking to one of the bar staff. The bar staff there are wonderful. There's not many of them because it's not overly busy. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than it was like 6 weeks ago, but it's still not overly busy. So we've got 3 bar staff there. We've got Grace, who's quite a big bloke. A very, very dry sense of humour. You have to be on his level to understand his sense of humour. All right? I mean, you do. I understand it. It's ever so funny, but it's very dry, very, very dry. I think the Americans might have trouble understanding his humour, okay? And then there's Mikey. He's like a youngish blonde boy from Liverpool, and he's got one of those sexy Liverpool accents. Oh, don't you like... Hey, can I do a Liverpool accent? All right, mate. All right, mate. How's it going? It's a little bit like that, but not quite. And I love if I could only find someone from Liverpool to go out with, we wouldn't have to do anything or touch or anything like that. I could just sit there all day and listen to his voice. Don't you like that Liverpool accent? I love it. And there is Matty, who's he's thin as a rake. I think he's about 8 stone. I don't know how he manages to keep the weight off. He's, I think, 22, 23, and we all have a bit of a laugh together. And I was talking to Matty while someone was singing at the karaoke, and I was eating an apple. I like to have an apple a day. Now, there's the old saying, isn't there, that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Is it true, though? I don't know. You tell me. Does an apple a day keep the doctor away? Huh? And I'm eating this apple, and I swallowed a pip. And all of a sudden, it came into my mind, right, that saying that Mum and Dad used to say, or Mum did, oh no, you haven't swallowed an apple tree will grow inside your tummy. Anyone remember that one? Or an orange pip, or a lemon pip. Oh no, a lemon tree will now grow inside your tummy. And as a child, you'd sit there and worry then, wouldn't you? I'm going to have to make myself sick. And they'd say, no, don't make yourself sick. You used to sit there and worry. Was Mother actually joking? Or do you think that an apple tree will actually grow in your stomach? Do you remember that as a child? Of course, we know different now. But what other things did Mum and Dad used to tell you when you were a child that are oh so amusing now, but a little bit frightening at the time? Just a minute, I've got to do something. Something's going wrong here today. 1 second now. I don't know what I'm doing here. Just a minute. There we are. Is that it? Oh, that's it. There we are. What other things did your mum and dad tell you when you were little that frightened you then, perhaps, but are quite laughable now? Do you remember the excitement around Christmas time when you actually thought Father Christmas, Santa Claus, was actually going to come down that chimney, even though you had a gas fire installed and screwed to the wall? How was he going to move that? Was he a magician as well as a present giver? Anything like that, do let me know. What used to frighten you as a child that your parents perhaps told you? Maybe not scared the life out of you, but frightened you in a nice way, and yet now is quite amusing. Did an apple... Perhaps you're one of the few people where an apple tree actually did grow in your stomach because you swallowed an apple seed. Huh? If it did, I want to know about it. All the better if you've got a photograph to send in. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Something else I've started purchasing recently is half-baked bread. Now, I don't know why. I bought a packet in, oh, dare I say the word again, Aldi, A-L-D-I. Not one of my favourite stores, I'm afraid. We've got an Aldi here in Bracknell, which I've mentioned a couple of times now. And it's not my cup of tea. I mean, apparently they're a very fast-growing supermarket and very, very cheap. Well, as I said on previous shows, I think I found a few items cheaper. And it's not so much about about the money, to be honest. And I was talking to an elderly lady who I just know from walking around in Bracknell. I do tend to talk to anyone, you know. A Scottish lady. And I said, what do you think of the new Audi? She says, I hate it. I said, why? She said, it's just so cold in there. And when this particular shop was Waitrose, I would go in there for a few items, I'd make my purchases, and then I'd spend a couple of minutes talking to the staff. And they always seemed to have time to talk. Even the management. The management would walk around in their dark suits and they were friendly as well. Always used to speak, hello sir, and all this business. And it makes such a difference. Audi, they haven't got time to talk to you. When it was Waitrose, there must have been 15 staff working away in that shop, doing various different jobs, either on the till, stacking shelves, perhaps a bit of cleaning. You know, that was the setup. Now it's Audi. I never see more than 3 people on the dance floor, then on the shop floor. On the other hand, there's no customers in there. I remember the first week or so when I went in there, it was quite busy. Now I go in there, there's never more than a handful of customers in there. I honestly don't see that shop lasting. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But it's just, as the old lady said, it's so cold in there. Not cold as in weather-wise cold. It's clinical. It's like you feel like you shouldn't be in there. It's a very, very strange shop, that is. It really is. They do have some very cheap items, yes. But I'm afraid I only go... and that's why I go in there. They do a very good offer, usually each week, on fruit and veg. For example, tomatoes, 49p for 6. Now, that's quite good. And I have a quick look around that section, and then I go to the till. There's no baskets. You have to hold everything or take a trolley. That's the whole idea. You don't go in and buy a few items. Well, I do. I just buy the cheap items and then I'm off out. Then I go to Sainsbury's for the rest of the stuff. Now, I wish we had an Asda around here. We've got no Asda in Bracknell. Yeah, I'd be so happy. That's my favourite store, Asda, which is, of course, part of the Walmart group. But it's just, I don't know what about that. I mean, what are your experiences with supermarkets? Now, we've asked this before, but no one joined in. Thank you very much. Doesn't matter if you're not in the UK. Tell me about your supermarkets in Florida. Tell me about Publix. Eh? Tell me about Publix. I know Publix. I've been to Publix supermarkets in Florida. Yes. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. So I've been buying this half-baked bread, which actually the half-baked bread in Aldi does come out better than the half-baked bread in Sainsbury's. The Sainsbury's one, once it's been in the oven, it comes out. There's hardly seem to be any dough in it at all. It goes crispy around the outside. My mum used to enjoy crusty rolls, and indeed so did I. We had a baker's in Roehampton called Coombs, the bakers, and they did the most marvellous crusty rolls. You can't get them now. Sainsbury's, they do crusty rolls, right? But a day later, they're not crusty anymore, so I don't know what's going on there. Why don't the rolls remain crusty? Huh? Like my crusty pants. Right. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm coughing because I need to sneeze. Oh. Oh, excuse me. Dear me, excuse me. Right, I'm going to give you the text number and the postal address now. If you want to text the show and you're in the UK, it's ever so easy to do. Oh, dear. You can text in on 07815 907 896, okay? 07815 907 896. He says, looking around, hoping to find a handkerchief. There's actually, is that one on the floor? No, it's a T-shirt. Oh dear, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go and get that tissue from my nose. Just a minute now. Oh. I think I'll bring the whole roll in. Let me get my roll of tissue paper. Oh dear. Little roll of tissue paper, there we are. Sorry about that. Oh. Right, did you write that number down? Here's the phone number again. Oh, I hope I haven't got my first winter cold going on. Right, that's better. The text number once again, 07815 907 896. 07815 907 896. Now, if you're outside the UK, you can dial internationally. Dial your international access code, which may or may not be 00, followed by 44 for the UK, 7815 907 896. Now, I'm not saying this too fast, am I? All right. International access code, followed by 44 for the UK, 7815 907 896. And if you would prefer to write in, you can do so by writing to Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, BRACKNELL, RG429ED. Once again, Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, BRACKNELL, RG429ED, United Kingdom. Alright? Anything at all you want to hit back at me, feel free to use one of those methods. More expense this week. My second instalment of my water bill for the week, for the year. Look at this, listen. Another bill comes through, £159.02, dear. So how much is that for the year? That's £320 for a year's worth of water. And it's a lot of money, isn't it, eh? I keep thinking to myself, should I just tell them to come round and cut the water off, and in future I'll just have buckets that are outside in the garden catching my water rain, and a water butt. Anyone else use a water butt? What about, has anyone watching the show, perhaps in another country more likely, not connected to the water main? Do you have to collect your own water? Are there people watching the show like that? How does that happen? Let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, apart from my water bill, I still have not got my car back yet, unfortunately. Yes, my little Toyota Aygo should have come back yesterday, but it wasn't ready. Apparently, if you're watching the last show, you'll know one of the wheel bearings has got to be replaced. Don't know what that is. Something to do with the wheels, that's all I know. And he said he'd ring tomorrow, and he didn't. So I rang him around about 3:30. I said, are you going to want me to get my car today or not? And I said, it doesn't matter because I've got a courtesy car at the moment, a little Toyota IQ. Which I have found, it's a petrol one. Now, my Toyota Aygo is a diesel car. The IQ is a petrol car. And I have found that the IQ is not, or doesn't seem to be as economical as my Aygo. I certainly spent £20 going to and from Brighton the other day, going to see my friend, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have got through that amount of fuel in the Aygo. But I mean, looking at on the internet, the comparison to the fuel economy things on both vehicles, they do seem pretty same to me, because the Igo is a lot smaller. But my experience tells me that actually my Igo far outperforms the IQ on economy. Don't know why that is. Is it the way I drove it? I don't know. No, I drove it exactly the same as I drive my own car. No, I wouldn't go mad just because I've got a courtesy car. I wouldn't sort of thrash it going all the way down the motorway and back again. Besides, you can't. You know, you get a speeding ticket and that's it. So I don't do it. So interesting there. But he said as they took the wheel, what was it again? The wheel bearing and the wheel apart, the ABS brake sensor fell apart. So they've got to fix that as well now. I don't know what they're doing. Do you think they're just getting money out of me? No, I don't think so. I have found Toyota very, very good on price. And I found them very respectful of their companies. I think I trust the Toyota brand. Now that I have the car for just over 3 years now, and I've been in and out of the garage for servicing and that sort of thing, I do like the Toyota brand and I trust it. So they've obviously done their work there to get me as a customer to keep coming back. There's nothing to stop me going to a small garage, possibly getting the job done quicker. Sorry, not necessarily quicker, but cheaper. I'm sure I could go to a small garage and find these jobs cheaper. But the fact is, I've never had to go back to Toyota after a job's been done, after a servicing, and say, hello, this isn't working properly now, or anything like that. And that's why I continue to go back. It's not all about cheapness. It's like going back to this Audi business again. You know, I don't go in there because I don't like the atmosphere in the shop. There's no atmosphere in that shop whatsoever in Audi and Bracknell. None whatsoever. I mean, half of the reason for that is there's no blooming customers in there. And there isn't. Whether or not I'm going in at the wrong time, I usually go in there... I don't know, about 1:30 in the afternoon. There's no one in there. You would think that people on lunch would go in there, wouldn't you? But once I like a brand, that's it. I tend to stick with it unless I get really angry and annoyed. Oh, you don't want to see that? I'm like a Tasmanian devil. Or perhaps not. So that's that. Let me see here. Oh, I was watching this programme talking about cars. What was it called? Something on BBC One. Was it the Gadget? It might have been the Gadget Show on Channel 5, or Bang Goes a Theory on BBC One. One of those science type programmes anyway. And it was on the subject of cars, and they were talking about regenerative braking. So that's when they do something with the brakes so that whenever you brake, it sends electricity back into your battery, which is supposed to be a better way of driving, because when you brake, a lot of heat is produced, isn't it, in your brakes? And that's all kind of wasted. So somehow they've managed to convert the heat, or whatever that, I don't know what it is they do, on your brakes, so that it charges your battery. As you brake, you charge your battery up and up. But I'm wondering, does it actually charge it up that much? What if, I mean, like me, I don't use the brakes very much. I slow down. Years ago, 3 years ago, I was a Land Rover driver. I had a beautiful Defender Land Rover. And I'd had Land Rovers for 3, 4, 5, about 7 years, right? And very quickly, after getting in my first one, I learnt, rather than to brake, to actually slow down when you come to bends or traffic lights before you need to brake. And many times I used to brake kind of through the gearbox, you know, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slow right down, and then perhaps touch the brakes at the end. So surely something like a regenerative brake system wouldn't be any good for me, would it? I find it difficult to believe that you can actually generate a usable amount of electricity simply by touching the brakes. Mind you, if you come out in the UK on a Sunday afternoon, dear, or a Sunday night, or any time on a Sunday, and you get these blooming Sunday drivers, and they're on and off the brakes, aren't they? You know the people I mean. When you're going down a road and there's nothing, all there is in front of you is a car, one car in front of you. And every blooming 10 seconds, they're on the brakes, aren't they? How many people have you seen like that? And how, quite honestly, how these people get on the roads, I shall never know. It's just so annoying. On and off with the brakes all the time. So I suppose it would be good for them, but for someone like me, surely something like a regenerative braking system wouldn't be any good, would it? Another thing that crossed my mind, electric cars. Now, there's a lot of us now who are desperate now for I'd love an electric car. You just touch a thing and off it goes silently. How beautiful would that be? Huh? I would love an electric car. The big problem with them is the battery lasting, isn't it? I think we might be up to about 150 miles. There is a particular sports car, I believe, that can now do 250 miles, I think it is, on a charge. But this car, this is a £90,000 car. You know, it's out of my reach and probably yours as well. But the cars for the everyday man and woman in the street, I think they're up to about 120, 130 miles on a single charge, something like that. So an electric car for me at the moment is not a viable option because, well, I mean, for example, take my trip to Birmingham. It's 200 miles all round. So I wouldn't be able to do it. Unless, of course, I could plug it in at the other end, which I can't. But why haven't these electric cars got some solar panels on the roof? I mean, if it's a bit like, you know, the regenerative braking system, obviously, a regenerative braking system cannot recharge your battery, all right? It won't do it. But it kind of puts a little bit in, doesn't it? So why don't they put solar panels on these electric car roofs to boost the battery a bit? Surely it would help. Might take you those few extra miles that you couldn't have made. And when you think about it, I think most people do not park their cars in Fortunately, I have a garage and I park my car in a garage. But surely most people do not park their car in a garage, and indeed the car is outside most of the time. So wouldn't it make sense to put, or indeed make, the roof out of some sort of solar panel thing? Surely that makes sense, doesn't it? Why haven't they done that? Perhaps Irving Distiller, i.e. Wayne Anonymous, knows the answer to that one because he knows all these. He knows all these technical things. Or Carl in Yorkshire, you can do some investigating on that one, Carl. Why haven't they put solar panels on the roofs of electric cars? If you know the answer to that one, you know how to get hold of me. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Okie doke. Other news on cars. A couple of times I've seen this ridiculous thing, Sat Navs, right? Marvellous invention, aren't they? Sat Navs, they get me from A to B at places I could never ever have dreamed of going, including to my sister's house. I'm afraid my worst thing is not being able to find my way from A to B. Perhaps that's why I don't like travelling. You know, I can't imagine the worry of getting somewhere like I don't know, like Hong Kong or Japan or India or Germany, anywhere. You imagine getting off the plane somewhere and then not knowing where to go. That just fills me with dread. I do not like travelling. Don't get me wrong, I've been to some great places all over the world by plane, but actually just because I've been there doesn't mean I enjoyed getting there. I don't. I hate travelling. I hate it with a vengeance. That's why I've got a Sat Nav for my car. Now I don't get lost. But you need to be a bit sensible about how you use these things. I've seen now, in the last week, 2 occasions of people with their Sat Navs stuck in the middle of their windscreen. I don't mean in the middle at the bottom, which is where I have mine. I mean in the middle of the windscreen. How stupid is that? Obscuring their vision. You know how it is if you're a driver. How many times, for example, I wonder, have you pulled in only to just miss a motorcycle because you just didn't see it? You didn't purposely go out to hit that motorcycle, did you? You just don't see these things, dear. So please, if you've got sat navs, put them somewhere sensible on the windscreen, not halfway up the thing. Stupid. And they're always ladies. I'm sorry, girls, it's you lot again. You should never have been allowed on the roads. You really shouldn't. Who on earth was it that gave women the right to drive? They're the ones who were doing 20 mile an hour on a Sunday afternoon, I'm telling you now. I don't know. I really don't. Programme I was watching on the telly the other day. My life, I'm glad to say, has now been able to return to normal on a Saturday night because Casualty is back on. Of course, if you're not in the UK, you may not see that. Casualty. I love it. It's about this. It's a bit like ER. All about the emergency department of a hospital in the UK, and I love it. That's back on television now. Also back on television on Saturday night on BBC One is the fantastic series Merlin, and I love that as well, Merlin. And also on BBC Two, Dad's Army. You know I love Dad's Army. And on ITV, The X Factor. And they're doing it slightly different at the moment. Instead of having the auditions in front of just the four judges, they now have the auditions in front of a live audience in large theatre. Now, I actually like it quite a lot. I like the way it works. Well, the one thing I don't like is some of the editing goes onto the judges' faces, and they kind of make cringe faces like that when people are singing badly. I don't think we need to see that all the time. It's a bit. I don't mind a bit of it, but it's a bit too much. It's like every song goes to a picture of the judges' faces, and they're making some sort of face, which I think is doesn't do it for me. Most people I've talked to have actually said they don't like the new way of doing the X Factor with the live audience for the auditions. I don't know what you think. Do let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. Jimmy, my nephew Jimmy, little Jimmy, has bought a new bike, boys and girls. Apparently he's bought a mini motorbike. I don't think it goes very fast, but he's always buying bikes, my little nephew. Very active person. Football, tennis, he does it all. Swimming, he does it all. Now he's bought a motorbike, and it does worry me, does it you? No, I bet we've got some bikers out there who said, no, you're worrying unnecessarily, Chris, as long as he's careful. It does worry me, a little person like that on a bike. So he's bought a bike there. Right, another programme I watched this week was Dragon's Den on Tour. Now, Dragon's Den, the original programme, has now finished, but they've got a couple of spin-offs from it. One is Dragon's Den Online, which I haven't watched yet. And the other one is Dragon's Den on Tour, where they come out of the studio and they go around and see people that over the last few years have applied to try and get some of their money to invest in these people's businesses. And some were successful and some weren't. And one of the things that they tried to get money for was a toy. People who were making squashed animal toys. Now, these weren't actually squashed animals. They were toys of animals, you know, like soft toys that had been made to look as if they'd been squashed in the road, like an eyeball hanging out or something like that. And I just thought that was horrible. Completely and totally tasteless. What do you think? Would you buy your child a squashed toy? Something that had been made so it looks like it's been run over. I just thought that was horrible and tasteless and nasty. Squashed animal toys. I don't think the Dragons did invest in it. I gather the toys are doing quite well, but would you buy something like that for a child? A squashed animal toy? Have a look at your pet now. How would you like to see a toy made of that, squashed? Horrible, horrible, horrible. Let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I've taken up eating 2 new things. The Americans will know. Waffles and maple syrup. We like that very much. Thank you very much. Used to have it in Denny's in Florida when I went there a few times. Waffles with maple syrup. The only thing is I do appear to have got through an entire bottle of maple syrup in just a few days, which is a bit worrying, really. I may end up with type 2 diabetes because of this. I mean, you have to be careful of eating all this sugar, don't you? But why on earth is maple syrup so blooming expensive? It's like £4 for a jar of this stuff. Can someone tell me that, please? Why is maple syrup so expensive? Oh, it's delicious. Waffles and maple syrup. And also, I've taken up eating bagels, or as my best friend Ronnie calls them, bagels. He goes very angry when I call them bagels. Bagels. Because apparently, they don't have as much fat and as many calories as real bread, although they taste almost identical to me to a bit of bread, especially a toasted one. You put it in a toaster. Oh, it's delicious with a bit of olive oil butter on it. Very, very nice. So I've started eating those as well. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we've got loads of time, haven't we? Oh, just a minute. Oh, no, we haven't. I've been chatting away here, haven't I? Okay, let's do a little email here. I also have some bad news coming up for you in a minute, all right? So hang around for that. I'll save that till the end. Oh, where's my emails? Oh, yes, there we are. Robert in Iceland. Hello, Robert. He no longer uses Facebook. Yeah. He's found that he was getting bothered, and this is exactly the same as me, Robert. And my guess is a lot of other people who are listening and watching the show. He says, I found I was getting bothered by Facebook, chat, silly games like Farm, etc. I found the speed of Facebook so slow at times. I will not bore you with the details. So there we are, you know. And that's it, really. That's what he was saying there. Now, I do use Facebook quite a lot for advertising the things that I do. We all use Facebook and indeed the instant messenger things for different reasons. One of the things, and I don't want you to think I'm a miserable old git sitting here and don't like to talk to people, because nothing could be further from the truth. If you're out somewhere, perhaps in a club, in the street, in a supermarket, although not Aldi because no one talks to you in there, anywhere like that, I like a good gossip, right? But what I can't stand on any of the instant messenger thing, either MSS, Skype, Facebook chat, any of those, is when people come up and they say, hi, how are you? And we've mentioned this so many times before. Don't be thinking I'm a miserable git sitting here saying this. They say, hi, how are you? And you say, I'm all right, what do you want? And they say, nothing, just saying hi. And it just... You see, if you're like me, I'm on the computer and I'm doing something. I can understand people sitting in offices all over the world who are bored to tears and they want someone to talk to. So I do understand sending these messages, hi, how are you? You haven't actually got anything to say, though. If you want to have a conversation, that's fantastic. But you need someone to say, not just like, hi, how are you? What are you doing? It's got to be a bit more than that. Hasn't it? Or is that me being miserable? Has anyone else found that? And also, some of the stupid applications on Facebook. The games, and the more recent ones that seem to be coming more and more, is where you can make a collage of all your friends. And you can give them names. Like, someone actually said I was cute the other day. Cute, dear. Haven't heard that one for a while. Was it Stephen? Stephen in the States somewhere said I was cute. But they make a collage of pictures of all their friends on Facebook and then send it to everyone. And how many more of those have I got to look at in a day, dear? And it's getting on my blooming nerves. There's speed date. There's are you interested? And all these other completely useless applications, or so-called applications on it. Some of them are quite useful. I mean, the thing is that, are you interested? Now this one, right? The Are You Interested application is you go on and you see photos of people, right? And if you might be interested in them, presumably for going out on a date, you click yes. Right? And if someone else clicks yes on your picture that you have already clicked yes on, you then have created a match. But the point is, it doesn't seem to go any further than that. When you've created the match, surely one or the other should send a message. And sometimes a little message goes back or forth, like a little love heart or something like that, and then nothing. So what is the point of that? Please tell me. Am I losing my mind here? Or are these things all completely and totally pointless? Huh? And there's some very, very strange people have clicked yes on me. I'm telling you that now. Am I just fussy? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So there we are. Useless applications on Facebook. Name and shame them. Or do you, like me, block these applications? Huh? Do you block them? I block them all. It's just so pointless sitting there having all these applications thrown at you. There is a couple of games I've played before on Facebook. Tower Blocks. That's quite a good one. Quite enjoy that. Tower Blocks. Anyone play that? Challenge me to a game of Tower Blocks. Come on. My Facebook name is Chris Reardon UK. Chris Reardon UK. Tower Blocks. And my Twitter is the same. Chris Reardon UK. But other people use Facebook to, I suppose, chat people up. I use it for advertising, what I do. Chat people up and finding friends from years ago. I've actually bumped into quite a few friends of mine from years ago who kind of disappear suddenly and then reappear again, which is quite nice, isn't it? It's a good way of meeting people. A little bit like almost a new version of Friends Reunited, isn't it? Thank you for that, Robert. Another gadget I saw that took my notice is revolving number plates. Probably totally and utterly illegal here in the UK. But these number plates actually, you know, if you can suddenly push a button and it turns, oh, they've got to be illegal, haven't they? They must be illegal. Look it up on the internet, revolving number plates. Quite expensive. You fit them to the back and front of your car and at the push of a button, your number plate is obscured. Perfect for going past those dreadful speed cameras. Oh no, I'm sorry everyone. They're called safety cameras, aren't they? The police hate them being called speed cameras. They absolutely hate them being called that. They are called safety cameras. No, they're not. They're speed cameras. Created and set up to grab as much money as possible from us poor public. So how about a rotating number plate? Quite expensive. You literally push a button and I think a flap comes down and covers over the number plate. You push it again and a flap comes up. totally illegal in this country, probably. Have a look at those, all right? Revolving number plates, but I did like the look of those. So that's that. Now, what else have I got here? I printed something off. Where was... Oh, here we are. Look at this, right? Britain's stupidest holiday complaints. Now, I found this little article on Current TV this morning, just before I came into the studio here. And Current TV, you can always also watch the show on Current TV. If you go to current.tv and type in United Kingdom Talk, you'll see them all up there, okay? Britain's stupidest holiday complaints, and it says, you may have thought the Brits don't like to moan. I mean, we don't. I mean, do you, come on, be honest now, do you ever hear me moan? Never in a million years, do you? I just sit here quietly doing my little thing, smiling away through all of it. I never moan about anything, do I? And the article says, but when we're on holiday, our complaining reaches new levels. A list of the worst holiday complaints has been compiled and includes the following. Children's entertainment at one couple's resort was too good and therefore the children didn't want to spend any time with their parents. Another one here. My ice cream is melting too fast in the sun. Right? Another one here. When collecting baggage, a man was annoyed that so many other people also had plain black suitcases he couldn't tell which case was his. So he complained. Someone travelling from Cardiff to Portugal, one family didn't realise it would be so sunny and therefore they were too hot and sweaty in their travel clothes. And it does make you wonder why you know, the complaints of some people. Have you ever heard of a stupid complaint or anything like that? Not necessarily on holiday, but for anything else at all. Stupid complaints, let me know on the email, okay? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As you know, I go swimming most days of the week, and I'm starting to get to know the old boys who go down there in the swimming pool. Now, I can say old because I'm pleased to say they're older than me. In fact, one could say that I only go swimming at certain times, so that the rest of the time I look young among all these older people. And I've started talking to the old boys in the swimming pool, which is quite nice. You know, they're always in the changing room, and we have a bit of a chat in there. And they've actually done an awful lot of work in the council swimming pool. We've had all new double glazed windows put in now, and some lovely pool covers, which must be saving them a fortune in electricity, one would imagine. You pull these covers across the pool, I suppose they don't have to be heated so much, do they? Fantastic. And all the windows have been done and all that, and they've been working very hard. So it's all very pleasant in the council-run swimming pool at the moment, I have to say. And I also like to have a bit of a chat with my friend in reception, Sue. Now, Sue, I know everyone, dear. I know them all. Sue in reception. She sits there, and you like to hear her announcements on the tannoy system, because she's got this booming voice, and you just feel that you have to do whatever she says on the tannoy system. So quite like that. Now, let me just check something there. I can't remember what time I've got to finish now. Oh, another 3 minutes. We've got another 3 minutes left, don't worry. 2 more items for you today. The other day I lost my bank card. Has that ever happened before? Now, it's something really, really, really I do. And I'm sure it's in the house somewhere. I'm absolutely positive this bank card is in the house somewhere. But after an hour I couldn't find it, so I cancelled it, and another one came, and the bloke was so funny on the telephone. He said to me, he said, you do realise as soon as you put the phone down, that card's been staring you somewhere in the face. And actually, here we are a week later, and I haven't found it. So I'm actually quite pleased about that. but I'm sure my lost bank card is in the house somewhere. Have you ever lost a card like that? Isn't it the worst? I tell you what, have you ever lost a card and then it's been used? Because that hasn't happened to me. I've lost cards before. Not many. I mean, I can count on perhaps 3 or 4 over a period of 20 years or more, but I've not lost loads. But have you ever lost a card and found that it's been used by someone? I'd be interested to know about that. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, finally today, I have a bit of sad news for you. I've kept it till the end of the show because this sort of news, if you say it at the beginning of the show, you couldn't do a show. So I shall tell you now. You know my friend Gwen hasn't been well recently. Gwen has been following me around at karaoke nights. She's 72, I think. Karaoke nights for a number of years now. She hasn't been out now for 6 weeks and was practically been in bed for most of that time, feeling extremely weak, which is not like her at all. Well, I'm afraid to tell you that she rang me yesterday. I spoke to her on the phone, and she's been to the doctors now, and they've done some tests, and she has a form of cancer. I'm afraid that's all she knows at the moment. It's cancer. It's a women's cancer. This is not a men's cancer. This is a women's cancer. And next week she's going down to the hospital, and that's all we know at the moment. Okay, so we have to see what can or perhaps cannot be done. So I'll keep you fully informed of that. I know that you'd be interested in that, and I know you might want to send your messages. Send them on the usual email, okay? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you on the next show. From myself, Chris Reardon. Bye-bye now.
All right, boys and girls, it's time for our lady from Minnesota to sing. Now, she'll be down there, okay? I'm very sorry. Millie, I do not have spotlights over there, I'm afraid. You're going to have to do it in darkness.
You did that on purpose.
Okay. It's just like Halloween. I mean, I'm an old witch anyway, so it sort of fits in. Here we go. Millie in Minnesota.
I can read your mind, and I know your story. I see what you're going through. Yeah, it's an uphill climb, and I'm feeling sorry, but I know it will come to you. Yeah, don't surrender, 'cause you can't win in this thing called love. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's stepping out, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to those who believe, and that's the way it is. You question me for a simple answer. I don't know what to say, no. But it's plain to see, if you stick together, you're gonna find your way. Yeah, don't surrender, 'cause you can't win in this thing called love. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's stepping out, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to those who believe. and low.